Hey, what's going on, guys? Daniel from Motherboard here. Hope you guys are doing well. Sorry if I look a little tired. I just woke up probably like 20-30 minutes ago, and I was up really late last night working on a few things, but also playing Overwatch. I haven't played since its initial launch, and so I decided last night to reinstall it, and I've been having a blast with it. In this video, we are going to be looking at my new upgraded computer, or at least the parts that I put inside of my new upgraded computer. This is something that I kind of had coming on for a while. I built my computer originally back in 2011, and at the time it was very future-proof and it was a great computer, but I have abused it. I mean, it's been, again, 5 years, and so using it for video editing, 3D modeling, gaming, and just being on non-stop with like a million tabs, you know, will take a toll on any machine after a while. So for the last probably 4 or 5 months, I've been getting blue screens, so like a blue screen of death, basically well, it could be hardware or software or driver issue, but pretty sure it was a hardware issue with my computer at this point. It seemed like it was a RAM thing, but I just finally decided the other day when I was editing a video out and I lost it due to my computer crashing, that enough is enough. I need to get, you know, a better computer, or at least like upgrade my computer to where I can work a lot more functionally. And I do feel like 5 years is way past a, you know, computer's life cycle, really. So let's take a look at what I put in it. I definitely tried to get the best bang for my buck in terms of the best performance for the, you know, least cost, essentially. So for my motherboard, I went with the Z170X Gaming 3. Believe it or not, one of the reasons I went with Gigabyte was because Johnny Guns, if you don't know who he is, he makes YouTube videos and he's a buddy of mine. He had mentioned getting Gigabyte motherboard. He mentioned like Thunderbolt or Thunder, was it Thunderbolt or Thunder technology? But this one didn't have it. But on top of that, when I was looking at the best or most recommended motherboards for the LGA 1151 socket type, this was up there. And the price was fair. It was, I think, like 140, 145 bucks. I'll place links in the description too to where I got all this stuff. I basically picked it up off Amazon. But this board just was, it looked nice. It was recommended on a couple different sources online. It had everything I wanted in terms of, you know, expansion slots and things of that nature. It's got a USB Type-C port, USB 3.1, DDR4, memory slots with up to 64 gigabytes, and like I said, it was a pretty board. I don't know how well, you can probably see it, but that's the board right there. It's pretty cool. On one corner of the board it actually glows like a red LEDs built into it, but yeah, it's insane. I mean, apparently with like the 3.1 USB controller, I could transport it to 16 gigabits per second, which is insane. For the CPU, I went with the i7-6700K, which is the unlocked version of the CPU. Pretty standard, pretty much the standard, you know, for CPUs right now. If you're looking at i7s, I needed a CPU that can handle the 3D modeling and video rendering, working with video files that I do. Obviously, it's going to be paired with my graphics card. I didn't upgrade my graphics card. I'm still rocking the 970. It's going to be my graphics card for at least another 2 years, I would say. I just upgraded maybe a year ago. And I think at the time I put like 400 into it, so I'm not upgrading anytime soon. It's able to run like everything at Ultra right now, and I don't play enough graphic intensive games. Like my primary game is really Counter-Strike, and that is a very low demanding game in terms of graphics. And now I'm playing Overwatch 2, which is really low demanding. But even like intensive games like Battlefield, I was able to play on either high or Ultra, the new Battlefield 1. So I'm not upgrading that. As far as RAM, right now I just picked up two 8 gig sticks, so 16 gigs of 3200 DDR4 Vengeance RAM. It was recommended as being a really good RAM for the price in terms of, again, bang for your buck. I picked up 16 gigs for now, which is what I had in my old machine, and it was fine. Sometimes when I had like 1,000 tabs open, it would stutter a little bit, but for the most part it was fine. And because the other RAM sticks were kind of going bad, it became more of a problem. While these are new, so it should still be fine. But I'm sure, I actually think eventually I will get 32 gigs of RAM. So basically, like, to me, 16 gigs of RAM would be the max, and then 32 seemed like overkill, like, just why? But believe it or not, like, if you were the type of person like I am, and you were running, like, your Photoshop, your Adobe Premiere, your 3D modeling software, 2 different windows full of, like, 25 tabs on each, you'd be surprised how handy having a ridiculous amount of RAM comes in. So, yeah, that's why I started off with 16, I'll probably end up with 32. But I had just 120 gig SanDisk SSD that was basically holding my OS, and then I had a 1 terabyte and a 1 terabyte and a 500 gig hard drive for like all my other stuff. Well, I went ahead and upgraded to this crucial 525 gigabyte SSD. Again, if you're looking in terms of best value, this is really where it's at. It was, I can't remember the price top of my head, but it was really cheap. Not as good performance as like the Samsung SSD, but much better price-wise, which is why I ended up going with it. And I wanted an SSD with a little more, well, a lot more room really, from 120 to 525, because my SSD kept getting filled up. Although I just used it for my OS, it is so easy for other things to get built up on it and for it to be completely filled. So I wanted to be able to put like Photoshop, Adobe Premiere, Autodesk, or 360 Fusion, maybe 1 or 2 of the games I play the most on there. So now I can do that, and I'm so thankful that I finally upgraded my SSD. And then lastly, for the CPU cooler, I ended up with this guy, which is the H100i V2. I didn't want that. I didn't want that at all, actually. I wanted to use my, this guy right here, my 212 Evo that was actually in my system. I just didn't have the back bracket for it, and I could have ordered it online on like eBay and gotten it in like 3 or 4 days, but I didn't know I needed that until I'd already taken my computer apart and I needed it for work and just to do stuff. So I went to Best Buy, 2 Best Buys actually. The first one carried 0 CPU coolers, which was insane. A technology store doesn't have a freaking CPU cooler. But the second one I went to had these. They stopped carrying the cooler, like the fan coolers. They only have these ones, which I'd imagine is because like the price is 3 times higher on these. But I picked it up and it looks pretty. It really does. It runs ridiculously quiet. I thought that it would just be making more sound with like the pump moving around, but nah, it's very, very quiet, and I am happy with it in the end. But again, it's not what I initially wanted because it wasn't in my like value, if you will. It's kind of pricey. Like I think with tax and everything, it's like 110-ish. Which again, if you're not going to be overclocking the shit out of your CPU, really not necessary at all. More just it's cool, you know. So, anyways, this is my upgrade. This is what I'm going to be rocking for the next, I don't know, hopefully 3 or 4 years here. I kept the same case because I got the case like 1.5 years ago, and I don't know, I'm happy with my case still. My PS2 I kept too. I upgraded that probably about 1 year ago. It's a Corsair, is it 700 watt maybe? And then again, I kept the 970 as well. There's just no reason to get rid of my graphics card when it works perfectly fine. So, yeah, that's my new build. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Hope you guys are all having a great holiday and have a great Christmas. And on that note, I am out. Peace, guys.